My project was about my SA2, and my SA2 was about research and the impact that it has on us and why we need to increase funding because the funding for research isn't enough. The thesis for my SA2 was that there isn't enough research going into scientific funding. I left this broad, but in reality, it could be narrowed down as much as you want. And at times like this with the coronavirus outbreak, you can really see if we had the right amount of funding for research, we wouldn't really be to where we are right now. There would have been a vaccine by now. And I think this is why my chosen audience was the vast majority, the public, just everyone really, like the people that are at home right now. I wanted them to know how important it is to really just help fund research, like sign, because in the end of my video, I had to sign the petition because I wanted people to go out and help the researchers out there. Because in a sense, they're competing for one another for these grants that are provided, but the grants aren't even enough. And it's like if they're competing with one another for those grants instead of assisting and helping together to just move that drive further, then it's really just going against itself. It's pushing us further back than it is helping us advance. And I think this is why this topic really stood out to me. And in my project, I had the news interview. I felt like this was the best way to kind of approach it because if I wanted to appeal to the vast majority, what is everyone on? Like TVs and times right now, and especially on the news, people are just like, "Oh, let me see what's going on right now," or "Let me see what's going on with the world around me." And this is why I kind of like clicked to make a news interview. And my project would be found in the real world, just like I said, on the TV. This is where majority of people are. Despite I wanted to try to appeal to social media, but I felt like more of the people that I wanted to appeal to would be on TV and on the news because that's where like everyone is. And since I wanted to have a large majority of people come in and see how they might have thought differently of what research is and how big of an impact it may have on their lives. Because a lot of people don't really see the world as a bigger picture. It's more of like, oh, the world only revolves around me. I don't revolve around the world. When a sense, it should be the opposite because we're just living on this planet. We need to care for it if we really want to make it last, which is crazy. Most people just litter everywhere they leave. They don't want to recycle. They don't help in trying to have beach cleanups because this world isn't going to last very much longer if we don't make a change for the better. And helping sign petitions to fund these research things is what's really going to help in the end advance us all as a whole. And this is why the two modes that I focused on were visual and auditory, because I felt like these were the most simplistic ones that would suit my project. The having the backgrounds in Zoom, like that's why I had my character come in from like a little spin, because you know how in the news they always introduce themselves in a weird way. But I ended up had to find some music to have the news introduction, and I had used the backgrounds on iMovie. I transferred the stuff from Zoom over to iMovie, all the clips individually, and from there, I really just wanted to make it seem as credible as possible. Which is why even in my researcher getup, I wore my actual lab coat and my goggles and whatnot to try to make it really like drive home that okay, like this person seems like he knows what he's talking about. And I feel like in the end, it really just comes down to like trying to drive that home to your audience and help one another. Because in the end, play a big part in our society, and we really need to help them because, in a sense, you're helping everyone. Because researchers drive to try to strive for a better like world would help every single one of us, and I think that's what's really worth striving for. And I really hope that this like project kind of drove home like okay, like I see where you're coming from, and because there are some petitions out there there's many to get the government to help with more funding for the researchers because they've been cutting it down way too much. But overall, my project, I try to stick to a simplistic way of trying to portray it to my audience because it's a news and they don't really want to overcomplicate things. And yeah, Thank you for watching.